Let me ask you something. You ever feel like you're right there on the very edge of a huge breakthrough, but something invisible just keeps yanking you back? Well, that invisible force has a name. It's a limiting belief. And today, we're not just going to find it, we're going to learn how to shatter it. I mean, it's like this, right? You're hitting the gas, you're putting in all the work, all the effort, but you're just not going anywhere. That feeling, that frustrating, stuck-in-the-mud feeling, like you're fighting against something you can't even see, that's exactly what a limiting belief feels like. Okay, so what are we actually talking about here? A limiting belief isn't just, a bad thought you have once in a while. No, it's way deeper. It's a story that you've told yourself over and over and over again, so many times that your brain accepts it as a fact. But here's the secret. It's not. These stories are built on old fears and past experiences, not on the reality of who you are today. They're basically just ceilings we've built for ourselves. All right, so to tear down these ceilings, we first have to understand where they came from. So in this first part, we're going to unmask that inner critic. We'll look at where these thoughts come from, and more importantly, what they sound like when they're whispering in your ear. And here's the really weird part. These beliefs, they often start as a form of protection. I know, it sounds crazy, but your brain is just trying to keep you safe. Think about it. If you failed at something once and it hurt, your brain goes, okay, let's not feel that again, and creates a belief like, I'm just not good at that. It's a shield. The problem is, what starts as a shield eventually becomes a cage. So let's get real for a second. Do any of these sound familiar? That little voice that says, I'm not good enough, or I'm too old for that, or, oh, it's way too late for me to change. Yeah, these are the greatest hits of our inner critic. They're the stories, the excuses that we've let disguise themselves as reasons. And you know what? Just learning to hear that voice, to recognize it, that's the first huge step. Okay, now look at this number, 91%. Just let that sit there for a second. What do you think that is? Well, a study found that over 91% of the things we worry about, the things that keep us up at night, they never, ever happen. Let that sink in for real. The vast majority of our fears, and those fears are the fuel for our limiting beliefs, are literally based on fiction, things that will probably never come to pass. It just shows you how completely disconnected our inner world can be from what's actually possible out here in the real world. And this quote from Tony Robbins just nails it. The biggest thing holding you back from what you want tomorrow isn't the economy, it isn't your boss, it's the doubt you're carrying around today. But you know what? That's actually great news. Because if we're the ones who created these limits, that means we have all the power we need to tear them right down. So the big question is how? How do we actually do that? Well, that's what we're getting into right now. We're going to walk through a super simple but really powerful 4-step action plan to help you break free for good. Okay, here's the whole game plan. It's just 4 steps. Acknowledge, question, reframe, and act. That's it. Think of it like a loop. You start by just noticing the belief, and you end by taking action that proves it's wrong. All right, let's break this down. It all starts with just seeing it, turning the lights on. That's step 1, acknowledge. You have to catch yourself right in that moment when you think, I'm not experienced enough for this. Then immediately you move to step 2, question it. Get curious. Ask yourself, wait a minute, is that really 100% without a doubt true? This is where the whole story starts to unravel. Now, step 3, this is where the magic really happens. This is the reframe. So check this out. The old thought is, I'm not talented enough. The reframe isn't to lie and say, I'm the most talented person ever. No, it's to find a different, more useful truth. Something like, you know what? I am a hard worker, and I'm capable of learning and growing. See, it's still true, but it's a belief that empowers you instead of stopping you. Or how about this classic? I just don't have enough time. That makes you a victim, right? Like your schedule owns you. But what if you reframe it to, I can reorganize my time to focus on what's important? Boom. Instantly, you're not the victim anymore. You're in the driver's seat. You just turned a roadblock into an open door. And that leads us to the final and honestly the most crucial step. You have to act. Look, you can reframe your thoughts all day long, but if you don't do something, nothing really changes. If that old story was, I'm terrible at public speaking, your action doesn't have to be a TED Talk.
It can be as tiny as speaking up for 30 seconds in your next meeting. That one small win is a piece of real, solid evidence that tells your brain, hey, that old story, it might be wrong.
See, taking those small actions is how you lay the bricks for a new belief. But here's the million-dollar question. Can this change actually last? Is it permanent? Well, in this last section, we're going to look at the science that says absolutely yes. I mean, it's a fair question, right? We've been thinking this way for years, maybe decades. Can we really, truly change our core beliefs? And the answer from neuroscience is a huge, screaming yes. And it all boils down to one incredible concept. That concept is called neuroplasticity. And what it means is pretty mind-blowing. For the longest time, we thought our adult brains were basically set in stone. That once you hit a certain age, that's it. But we now know that's completely wrong. Your brain is much more like clay than concrete. It can physically change, it can form new connections, it can rewire itself based on what you think and what you do. And the best part, it can do this your entire life. So think about what this means for you personally. Every single time you use that 4-step plan, every time you question a belief and then take a new small action, you are literally, physically rewiring your own brain. This isn't just some feel-good motivational talk. You are actively building new pathways in your mind, which means you are never, ever stuck. At the end of the day, your life is a reflection of the stories you believe about yourself. The science of neuroplasticity proves that you hold the pen. You are the author of your story, not just a character in it. So that leaves just one final question for you. What new story are you going to start writing for yourself today?